Okay, so it's 3:20. The weather here is so fucking crazy too. The and I'm so out of it. I don't even know. Like, I feel like so disconnected from like I. It's weird because you say disconnected and like there's not words that I can think of that to express it is the problem. Like I don't know how to express what it is I'm feeling, but it feels like the same as a dream. Is all I can think. It feels the same as a dream. Like this feels so unreal, and uh, like everything is like not connect. Like everything is disjointed almost, and it's like um I don't know. But it definitely feels like I've got my own little reality bubble. And there's another reality outside of my bubble. And in my bubble, it's not as connected as it's not as connected because like as soon as I lay down, the second I lay down and shut my eyes, as soon as I could relax my brain, because I definitely last night I had a meltdown. Oh my god, I had a fucking meltdown. I was all like, oh god. I'll tell you about that then. But as soon as I lay down, if I'm relaxed, I am in another world. I've got the eyeball things. Now it's not even like, what was it yesterday? Last night they were coming at me with dog eyeballs or something, toy eyeballs. And no matter what I would look at, if it had anything to do with eyeballs, it suddenly was trying to suck me into it. It was like, what in the hell is going on? Which, by the way, a woman was walking in Dallas. I don't know, a few days ago, I think this just happened. She was walking on a sidewalk and they had removed a manhole cover. Like, you better watch where you're fucking going. Like, like, it is no shit. You gotta be paying attention to everything in life. Like, I could see multiple lessons here in this one little scenario. But so she's walking, doesn't know the manhole cover's off, and she goes straight down in it, is swept away, and there's witnesses. They start calling 911. They see workers or start telling them what's going on. The workers come over and just start arguing with each other about like, well, it's your fault. You left the manhole cover off. And so she's just like outraged, and 911 calls, so they can't find the woman anywhere. She was gone for 3 days, and then they find her at a water sewage, one of those places like I talk about where they take the water and then they turn it into drinking water. That's what it sounds like, what she landed on. Some kind of water sewage treatment facility or something. So, and she just got found, and her family is outraged. And there's going to be so many lawsuits and stuff. Like, this is the end of this world as we know it. And it is also on multiple different things because it is all it's like we crash it on many levels because our consumption and our greed is also a part of this whole thing. That is where people are going to see that in themselves when the healing begins on this part of this shenanigan, whatever the fuck you want to call it. The awakening is just a simple form, but I don't know, it's misinterpreted by so many people. But anyway, because they take it so much about awakening into the matrix or whatever, but it's like this whole different consciousness elevation of you connecting to this higher aspect of yourself. So it's not just like, oh yeah, we're in a weird world. Yeah, we're in a weird world. But the significance has to do with your connection to yourself and your higher self. And taking that connection brings up a lot of trauma because your soul is deeply wounded. And you, so when you start the journey to connect to self and be true to self and be honest in character, all those kinds of things, you, that connection is what ensues the healing. So you have, it's a different approach, and the people who are here for that, will just start happening for them. It's not like I have to tell them or something. It will start happening naturally. I think a part of it, God, I've got to wheeze. The weather is so fucked though. I can't even tell you. I was like fucking, I thought we were going to have I thought I was definitely going to have to get the life jackets out last night. And even in the middle of the night, something hit into our window. The dogs jump up and start barking. I have to keep telling them it's a storm, it's a storm, it's a storm. It is just non-fucking stop. So anyways, I've got a total wheeze, the sneezing, this itching, congestion, all the shit. It goes like on a rotation. It just goes over and over and over. So you start feeling better and starts all over again. It's like it's like they have it timed. And I'm sure they put a lot of effort into figuring that out, how long that we needed to just keep kicking our ass with sickness. And what was that? Because I do keep getting these weird sores on my legs, and I kept being like, okay, so is this the tattoo ink? Because I've seen people start talking about their tattoo ink is becoming toxic to them, and it's making them get these rashes. So I keep thinking, well, is it something like that? Or is it something like the bots in me trying to get out? Like, what the hell is going on? And they keep being these really weird, like I'm putting on, like, I was doing the baking soda and castor oil, because that was also will remove things. And Stella's thing, man, I swear to God, it's like a fucking spaceship. What the fuck is going on with that thing? But then using that DMSO or DSMO, whatever, I put some of that on there too. I'm going to feel this one because I just will run across it. And all of a sudden it's like, what the hell is this thing? And so this one is more dried up on my leg, but it's like sore too, but it is still big. It's like, what in the world? But I have seen other things where people have talked about that getting these weird sores and stuff. So I don't know. It's something trying to get out or trying to get in, trying to get in or out. Like, I'm not sure, but one or the other. So, everything is just, you got to have awareness so you can take care of it. And it just is exhausting because you're constantly having to take care of this or take care of that. Because if you just leave things, they will turn into like skin, like if something gets in there and starts growing all crazy. Because don't even forget about how they told us about, like, something starts growing on you and then it starts changing and looking, its borders changing and stuff like that. Is because that we're not supposed to be letting stuff grow on us. And I think that is a big thing about why all these people use those scrubbers on their skin, is scrub all, it's like scrubbing the barnacles off, man. You gotta get your skin smooth. And so if you don't use one of those, and everybody got all on, like I tried a bunch of different ones, and then everybody got all on this African net sponge thing, whatever. And it's supposed to be like made. I don't think somebody's just sitting there tying these knots. Like, I don't know what the hell. Like zillions of these, like there's fucking crates of these, and someone's just sitting there tying knots all day. Like, I don't know. It seems like it's got to be machine made of some kind. But anyways, it's supposed to be so great. And so I had ordered them. And then after I had ordered it and got mine, I'm thinking, man, this is kind of rough. And then I started seeing videos. Oh, there's tons of fake ones. So, I don't know, all the stuff. Every motherfucking thing you get, you got to watch out. Because it can be just a knockoff, fake. Like, it's this world. See, that's why this stuff is going to keep falling apart. It's, I mean, anywhere along the way, if we shifted and we all started doing good, but that's not how it's going to play out. That's not how it's meant to play out. It's meant to play out in this dramatic time of mirrors, because it's going to be so deep of what it is that people need to process and stuff. There is something, let me think what it was, because it was something I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah, okay. It's the sounds, this fucking music fucking shit. I wanted to talk more about that. Um, these weird fucking songs, like, what the hell? Like songs I've not, it's not like I've heard them or something, and then they just keep being on replay, replay, replay. And then it was like, change the record, put on another one, and it just goes replay, replay, replay. It's like, this has got to be them. Whoever them is who's fucking around in the airwaves. And I was thinking, think about how many of these movies that they're always doing that. Like, I don't know, for some reason I've Lost stuck in my head, but there's other shows. I'm not even sure if Lost does it, but they're always doing it where, I don't know, something gets stuck on some weird old obscure song and is playing over some airwaves somewhere. And I've seen it in so many fucking shows. And I was like, they are doing that to us. They are doing that. And not everybody can hear it. It may sound like just a hum to some people. It depends on your frequency, what you can hear and stuff, what you can see and what you can hear. And so everybody's, we're all on different ones and stuff, but they know how to interfere in all these different layers of the frequency. So they know how to interfere. And so it seems like in wherever my frequency is there's fucking noise. They just keep playing this noise. It is and if you are in this realm of like talking to the other side, like if you're in and out, like me, like you're in and out of here and there, then it's like an interference. It's like you're at home and there's a party a few houses down, and you're trying to hear a conversation, and then somebody across the street starts revving their motor or something, and then you can't hear anything that's being said over there. It's like that. It's like you're trying to hear something, and then they're causing this interference, so it is making all this noise. And it's intense, man. It's just noisy. Like these songs. And it's like you just hear it playing and playing and playing and playing. And then sometimes you just are gonna like get used to it or something. Then all of a sudden I'll find myself questioning or singing along or something. I've heard it so much now, I'm singing along. And I'm trying to remember the rest of the song, and then I'll be like, as soon as I take my focus off of it, then it just keeps going still. And I'm like, what in the hell? What is this? It's got to be some kind of interference. And see, I wanted to say something about that, but I was like, it's like not everybody understands how much interference and how we're interfered with and stuff. So and everything they're trying to do, see, is prevent the awakening. They're trying to keep everybody from evolving. Oh, that makes sense. Because, okay. So if this world, so this world is this deeper vibration, right? This heavy, dense vibration. And there was a lot of significance, a lot of reasons why we came here in the beginning, when we began coming here and stuff. And then it evolved, and it became more and more souls coming into these containers or whatever. And the learning and stuff that all became a thing here. And so this place evolved in a positive way, even out of a negative, because that's how it works, is positive and negative play off of each other. And so there was a negative, and then but the positive came out of it because there was evolution. We're in this period of evolution, and so our souls are all evolving. And so if you were to take if you were to take, okay, so if you were to take two parties and it was really, really full, and say this party is really pervy and weird and dark and creepy, and it's like a Diddy party out there. It was they, it was really disgusting. Like, I don't know when they brought out the hors d'oeuvres and this stuff, but um, that alley girl talks about that they would have little naked kids where the platters, you're taking your dip off of that. It's like, who would go? You would not find a normal person at a party like that. Like, gather them all up. They fucking need to be in a mental institute. Something's wrong with them. Like, they're fucking way too ego driven. Like, they're too scared to stand up. Like, I don't know what the fuck. But yeah, that you're going around eating dip off naked. Like, something's wrong with you. Something's seriously motherfucking wrong with you. So that party over there, there's something fucking wrong with those people. But it's a big ass party. Then you go over here to this other party. Oh yeah. I see it like this worshiping party. Everybody's just all like, just being all loving, and it's really lit and pretty, and it's got a lot of gold in the color, and the people are all like white and pure is how it's all represented, and just very calm and peaceful. So you got these two parties, and it's like, when the people all of a sudden realize this party is better, but you have to go through the cleansing to get to this one, then they all want to be at this party. But so this party is doing everything it can to distract the people so that they can't see this party, and they don't want them to know. But see, this party over here is growing, even though it's growing in kind of an absurd kind of way, but it will all center in, it will all fill in. And so even though it seems like it's just weird and all over the place, it will all like fill in. And so the people at this party who are in the dark, they don't know about the other party because of the interference. And so but there's a lot that lives in the dark, which is trippy because like we're being attacked by molds and candidas and stuff like that right now. And that's the kind of stuff that lives in the dark. That's trippy. And then, so in the dark where you have this, we got to think about on the level of the archons, and where, like, because the Dracos can't just zippity-doo-dah-day over here into a higher vibration and start trying to take it over. Oh, it's like a crunching, moving. They can't zippity-doo-dah-day way over there and get it over there into the higher dimensions and start trying to take them over. Like, this is their realm. Like, we're coming down into their realm. So we're up here, and then we're going, oh, what are we going to do today? Well, I think I'm going to zip down there and go learn something. I'm going to zip on down there into the dark realm. I'm going to go in the dark party and see how how I've improved from my last game. And so we come into their realm. This is their realm. And there is a lot that lives off of that. Like, the archons are very crunchy, crunch. So the darkness, the dark energy, the dark spirits and stuff, and then the beings that feed off of that, it's like a whole realm, and it's bigger than just one reality. It's a whole realm. And so that's the desperation to keep us in the dark, though, because what happens to their realm when everybody leaves their party and goes to this one? Then theirs dries up. There's nobody there. And so that is what their fear is the cease to exist, because you have to have something to play off of in order to exist, or to get the feeling of existence, because they would still be the dark energy, but there's nothing for them to play off of. If you can understand what I'm saying, you got to have something to play off of, something to observe yourself, to understand yourself. Otherwise, it's almost like you don't have an existence. It's like, so that is their drive. That is the, that is the underlying energy that is trying to hold on to us. It's almost like it's like these dark arms with chains coming up out of the ground, trying to hold us down into this and interfere in every way possible that they can, so that we don't see that party over there, and that we don't find ourselves, we don't wake up to ourselves, because that changes the game. But it doesn't just change the game. That's the thing, is this is a big leap out of the game. This is like, we're flipping this fucking shit on its head. We're flipping this game over. Because before, when we were all coming into it, we would come into it and, we would come in, and it was like, kind of like using it. But it's not like using it, but it's like using it. And so, I mean, because, see, that's the thing with words and stuff. And so, because it's deeper than that, but it's essentially that. But anyways, so, because the universe has its own thing going, and it's going to use, its creation. And so it's creating its creation. And so the beings that are, let me think what I was saying, because the ones in the dark, they are, that is their thing. Is it, oh, okay, so they're flipping it over. Okay, so we were coming in and doing these reincarnations and coming in and learning about ourselves. And then in the earth has gone through, like, there's multiple things happening, because there's multiple realms here. Like, we can't think just our existence. What's happening for us is what's happening for every other being on this planet and stuff. Like, we're all having different realities and stuff. And it is kind of like nature is beginning to see that we're connecting to it and stuff. So that was the guard that it stayed away from us, because we were disconnected from it. But now we are connecting to it, so it's like coming more like this. So for like the animals and stuff, there is something of more of a connection that is occurring in their realities. And so the so when we are coming in and we're just going in and living these lives, and we're learning and we're expanding, and I told you, like, this is an expansion to the universe is expanding. Then this reality, it is it was like being used and used and used so much by them, the darkness, and the darkness was going like a disease, making it darker and darker, and enslaving all these souls. But the enslavement is temporary, is the thing. It's like, it's temporary, even though there could be a group of souls that has been trapped here, because there's a lot of souls that feel like it. And so we are all having different experiences, and that group of souls, everything will happen naturally for them too, to break free. Everybody's stuff will happen. Everything happens naturally. Everything comes to you. But you just have to be in tuned to what's real, what's happening or occurring in your present day, in your present time, instead of, that is what they want to keep you distracted and thinking about this and worrying about that, and all those things. And so because they're trying to hold the energy back from what is occurring. But all of this stuff, all of this realization and this awakening in the game flips the game over. Like, this game no longer can exist in its present reality, because we flip it over. And so that's on a whole nother level, because that's not just in the game. That flips all this dark energies life upside down. Like, there's a lot of energy and stuff that is this realm is their existence. And so it's flipping all of that. It's kind of sad in a way when you think of it like that. But it is this is a big flipping from the dark to the light. But that is the cool thing too, is like, to see the light always goes in. The light can go into the dark and flip its shit, man. And so it's like, because I do think that there's a lot of realities that you would go to, that there would be things that you would be learning and stuff. But it's like this one became so diseased. And so the thing that's trippy too is like the thing that they desire is like they desire to understand God. They desire to understand what they are, who they are, their power, what is this place and stuff. And but they use evil, like they do evil, and then they test on us so that they can try and figure it out. And then they say they're doing it for mankind, they're doing all this because they're trying to figure it out for us all, but we aren't privy to this. Like, we are being used by them to try and figure it out. And what's so trippy about it is as they are trying to physically attempt and hurt all of the other people for their own motivation of understanding of reality, we are all they have to do is connect with themselves. Like, it's so fucking simple. But they're always going outside of themselves and trying to understand their power and stuff. And so we are in the like end stage. Yeah, it's like we're in end stage. We're in stage 4 of this disease. And that is what is yeah, that's funny too. Yeah, because they use the CHEMO. They use the chemicals on us, the organic, and now it's like that's flipping because we are using the organic to flip back on the chemicals. So everything is flipping the other direction, but it's all happening in such a natural way. And that is because it's the universe, and because that's how it works. That's the ages and the time periods and when it's up and stuff. But like some of these, like, okay, so I see it kind of like this reality drying up and drying up. And the more people that see the peaceful party where they can find their inner peace and connection to themselves, they become more driven because they start seeing all these other people finding peace in the world. But then they also don't forget, they've left this dark party, so they have a lot of stuff that they have to reflect on, like things that they have done or things that they maybe didn't participate in but knew about or something. So they have a lot of this darkness that they have to heal. So it is a journey to get to the place of peace, because it's not like you have to heal this because God himself is going to turn you to hell or turn you into you're going to hell. And it's not because of that. It's not because the watchers are judging you. It's not because the heavens are mad at you or anything like that. They don't care about any of that stuff. Whatever you did, that's what you have to face in yourself. That's the hard part. That's the part that eats you up. It isn't the rest of the universe. Don't give a fuck. That's that's your problem. Like, don't bring your problems on me. That's more of like, that's a you thing. So you went and did those things. Now you have to face yourself. So you have to figure out, like, what was your drive? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? And, this party has been big. It's like everything is micro, macro, but that is representative. But it's been like the party of we got Las Vegas, we got Atlanta, we got Miami, we got all these places where everybody was going out for the party. And you go to Nashville, you don't talk about what happened in Nashville. Any place, like that has become a part of our society and an accepted part of our society. Go out and get yourself obliterated and take some chances. Like, you may come home alive, you may not make it back. We'll see. So that's the game we were playing in this world, and people didn't realize it. But anyways, it's also, though, the soul is driven to have its experience. So it's going to mindlessly go into its experience. It's not going to see what's coming because It has to do with the learning and stuff for the soul. So anyways, but that's the hard transition, is because then once you've left the ditty, the freak out, then you have to cross this road. That can be a really rocky path to get over to that other party. And you, but depending on your own insecurities and stuff, seeing your own judgment, because your own judgment of other people will hold you back, because you'll feel everybody's judging you. So you'll hold yourself back. That's why you got to heal and learn to love yourself. That's why I keep saying how it's so important. You hold yourself back. You think you don't belong in rooms you belong in because you feel guilt, you feel shame, you feel dirty, you feel like everybody knows. And so you have to heal those things that hold you back. And so on the way across the road to get to that other party, you are having to let go of things and drop things off. And you're shedding, you're shedding the ensemble that you wore to this party. You're shedding it because you're going into this one that you're just wearing this white robe and glowing light. So but so you got to shed this part of you that you had become when you were in the dark. And a lot of people were so disconnected from themselves that they thought that that's all there was the dark, and was the deal. Like, what are we doing here? They're just disconnected from themselves, because when you're asking yourself, what am I doing here, yourself should be telling you. And but a lot of people, when their self started telling them, and they would tell other people, they would get told they're crazy and stuff like that. So people would close themselves off to their own truth because they wanted to be accepted by other people. But everybody's on their own journey to their own knowledge and stuff. So you can't let other people's understanding or what they are able to understand or accept or know is to influence your own. You have to be able to be strong in your own understandings and not be influenced by others. So you have to connect to yourself. Again, everything is about connecting to yourself and becoming true to yourself, becoming pure of heart, pure of spirit. And so, but as all of the people leave, see this party dries up, and it's like the room kind of closes in, and then you just have the dark energy because it has nowhere else to go. It doesn't have the ability to cleanse itself. It's like parasitic. It doesn't have the abilities like we do, because we are conscious energy, and they are kind of more unconscious energy, because they are more parasitic. They more just thrive off of our energy, so that's why they attach to us. And since they're dark energy, they feed into the dark energy, so they feed you, and you feed them back, because it becomes like this thing that begins to work and like take people over. Like, people become like zombies to the dark energy. Like, people don't even know. And that's the other thing too, that these airwaves can be communicating with the dark energy. And so if you have a lot of dark energy on you, like like the 15-year-old girl or whatever, she did herself in. She did a teacher, another student, a couple more. They're all in the hospital. I think 2 more critical or something. So I think 6 altogether. And then she did herself in. And there's so much with the MK Ultra and stuff. But if you have a lot of dark energy attached to you, and you're in a bad place, and then they're putting this out in the airwaves and stuff, the dark energy is going to communicate it to you. So it's going to push you to be more in your anger, more in your divisive behavior, more in your isolating behavior, more feeling alone, and everybody's out to get you and stuff. So there's another real motherfucking sad one too going on right now. Like, that girl was 15. Well, there's an 11-year-old, and she was trying to be responsible and take it upon herself at the school. This is like, this kid's a martyr, 100%. This kid's a fucking martyr. It's gonna make me emotional too, because there's so many of these souls that come in and do such a huge significant thing. And so she's 11, and her mom is raising hell right now, because so she was found in the bathroom at the school unresponsive, and by a student or something, And then it was found she was in there for like 2 hours or something. They rushed her to the hospital. Or maybe it was the 2 days. I don't know how long she was in the bathroom. I don't know. You'd have to look up the story and get more details. And I don't know how iffy the details are or anything, but the so 2 days later, though, in the hospital, she died. She succumbed to her injuries, which it was found out that they were she had done it to herself. And the reason being is because she was being bullied, and she had gone to the administration of the school and told them, and they did nothing, So then she went and she asked if she could just have a room after school and put it with other kids, so that they can talk about their trauma and their triggers, and like a group, a support group, so that the kids can all support one another. And the school wouldn't do anything. So that's why I say, like, she's a martyr. She was like doing these things and things that should have been taken care of. So that is going to be, it may not be all national because there's so much national stuff that it could be, but locally, there's going to be, I bet you some people are going to go down from that. I bet you it will play out I'm sure there's going to be so many different arrests of so many different peoples in schools and stuff, not doing their jobs, or what, like the corporate or government jobs, I'm sure they're fulfilling, but to humanity, it's where it is. There's going to be a lot of charges on that with the crimes against what I just said, is because of this kind of stuff. There's just so much, and there are going to be so many of these people that are linked to bigger things, and so much is so dark here because the harvest and the traffic is just is a lot. So anyways, there's going to be all sorts of people, and there's all sorts of martyr people, like going in and doing things. It depends on their imprint, the significance of their imprint, of what it is like, what it is that they're exposing or showing. It's, to me, is how you can kind of see a martyr, is it sets it sets something in motion too. It's changing the current. It's like if you were changing the water direction, and all these things that pop up to change it. So all these things popping up. So there's whole tons and tons of them. But this is the significance, again, of this change that is occurring on the planet, because there is so much of this driven change of the current, is the changing directions, and that is this whole thing of the leaving this old reality behind. And but it's so trippy because it's on such a bigger level than what people understand, because this is because it's like this big jump from this game that feels like it's all of our life, and then everybody's jumping out of it, and like realizing jumping out of it, but then it makes this game have nowhere to go, so it just starts kind of drying up and drying up. But then it can also be like a ball of energy, and so it can be there's a lot of dark energy here, so it probably will be a lot of things, like, but it can't go up into the heavens. It is still bound to its own vibration. It still is like down in this lower vibration. To me, that always seems kind of like sludgy or something. So the energy is still bound to there, but there is huge. And so it almost looks like it's a ball of energy, like a comet or something, and it can fly through the air, and then it can land somewhere, and it can imprint itself into that area, so a different reality, like a different island. And so it can become like a ball of energy and like a comet, and then fly and hit into this other reality island, And then when it hits, it permeates out its energy. So it shoots out all this dark energy. But the only thing is it takes the other beings to feed that dark energy. And in a lot of spiritual places, like, um, they would be able to sense it, and they would push it away more. And so it all depends. And that would be a crapshoot for all these different energies, because even through all the different cycles, the people go through periods of time where they're very connected into, because even down on earth, there was periods of time during Egypt, Atlantis, and stuff like that, where the people were very connected. I think it was the stories, possibly with Lemuria and Atlantis, has something to do with kind of like how it is now with the Western philosophy and the Eastern philosophy. And it was more of a science philosophy versus a spirit philosophy. And so one was heavy on technology and one was heavy on spirituality and connection. And that is kind of why we have the two energies now splitting apart. And that is why there's, what is that? Uh, an that is why there is a speculation, say, over all these different beings who are here right now feeling like they were from Lemuria, from Atlantis, or from Egypt, or from these very significant times during these times, because I said, like, these are different, like, wrap-ups for different lives like you had, and there's a whole bunch. It's not like you're just wrapping up one storyline. You have a whole bunch of storylines you're wrapping up. But so a lot of people were in that period of time and feel that connection. And so it is like, it's like that shift from where it was back then, going through its own lessons and coming back out like this other way. And it's not like there's a right or a wrong or a good or a bad. Everything is just the shifting is the pathway. It's the learning. And so I was seeing like a snake slithering, and it's just the pathway. It's not that it has to, there's not a wrong or right. There's not it has to be this way or that way. And that is a big problem even when you consider religion, because it's so based on this or that, good or bad. And that isn't how the universe rolls. So that is an isolated reality built on an idol. And this domain and these people who regard it, it has to do with their lessons that they have to learn from this exposure. And so that is also what has to do with the time of mirrors. And also, like, we could sit here and judge them all, you know, and it's trippy because I've talked to religious people, you know, and trying to talk to them and make sense, you know, try and get them to make sense of it and stuff. And they're so resistant is because they have to play this out. Their soul, it has to do with other lives and stuff. So that is where we, as our own beings, have to move ourselves out of that point of judgment of like, oh, see, and they should have done it this way, they should have done that, and then they wouldn't have this. No, they're supposed to have that, and there's nothing wrong with what they're going through, and everything is this aha, enlightened, you know, it's this true growth, and that's what has to occur. This isn't like we've accepted fake and phony for a long time, so what's real is, of course, going to feel uncomfortable. And oh yeah, what was that? Because that was like, yeah, there was like a few different things that were coming up about how other people feel like when somebody's doing really good, and then you got these other people who aren't doing so good, like they're kind of snaky or whatever, then it kind of makes them angry at the one who's doing good. Like, you know, like, you think you're better than me? Because but that is a projection, and it is projected from them because they feel bad about themselves. Like, people who are doing bad feel bad about themselves. It's inside. It's part of the drive too of the awakening and stuff. So but there's a lot of projection, and thinking like, oh, you're doing better, or you're doing good, and so you think that you are better than me, and you think you're smarter than me, and there's a whole lot of that energy. And that energy also, though, has to be purged out. So the carriers have to be really pushed into the release of this energy. And so that's why there's so much drama. There's so much drama over everything that is happening, because it has to be such a deep purge in people and their souls to release so much of this stuff. And there is lots of people like carriers of different things, different disease of the soul, and the mind too. I was hearing kind mind, is that is what we are working towards, is having a kind mind, to not be so divisive and judgmental, and it's wrong or right, it's this way and that way is wrong. That is an energy that we got to break free from. And the people who carry that really strongly, because we all know people like that, the people who carry that really strongly, it's going to hit them hard, I think, when they see that, because they are the carriers of that disease. And so they are here to purge it out. But as before they get to the purge part is where we see the ugly side, And so there's a whole lot of ugliness coming out of people. But that part is the part that, why it's coming so much to the surface, is because the mirrors are going to pop right up, so that they're going to see themselves. It's like heretic. It's like, if Reagan had to sit, exorcist too, if she had to sit in the mirror and watch her head spin and puke, vomit, and stuff split off on her face, then it's that's what's going to be more like people are going to have to see this side of themselves. But that is to cleanse it. It's not a punishment, even though it's going to feel so much like a punishment to people. But it's not a punishment, it's a cleansing. And it's sick day is going across the screen, because it's like a sick day. It's just like you just got to heal this stuff. And but that is the big thing, is that so many people, that facing themselves is the hard part. And it's almost easier to think like you have a God outside of you judging you, and you're going to go to hell. And a lot of people have already decided, well, I'm going to go to hell because I'm not a good person. Then why even try? And so a lot of people just succumb to the darkness, and that is the stuff you have to face. See, there's no hell, there's no what is that? Not abolish. It's like what people go to for a priest. They want him to take away their sins, and there is nobody who can take away your sins. There is no Jesus is going to save you from who you are. There is no God that's going to punish you for who you are. This is you having to give that peace to yourself. And there is healing in finding that peace, because it heals you to all the other beings. And so it's like a humbling experience. It's like leveling us, it's bringing us all to eye to eye. And so it's it's not a bad thing, even though it's going to feel so bad to so many people. But it's going to feel bad because it's like their own darkness that they have to face, because there's nobody who can take it away from you, nobody who can make it go away except you. And it's so hard to face those sides of yourself, the dirty side, the pervy side, the mean side, the hateful side, the dramatic side, the angry side, the bitter side, all these sides. you know, because we are multifaceted. You got a lot of parts to you. And most people, they are blind to those parts. People around them can see those parts, but they're blind to their own parts. They want to focus on the good parts of themselves. And so, and then that's the ego. That's the ego drive. And so a lot of people, you know, are self-inflated big meanies. So this is where they're going to have to see themselves and face themselves. And so it's going to just be this huge wave of that, of all, and that's where this event, this, something just attacked in my ear, this event that is going to switch everything, flip everything the other way. But you can see it coming. That's the thing, is you can see it coming. You can see the changing. You can see as things are changing and turning the other direction. But when you're not paying attention to that, it's going to be a sudden, abrupt feeling. And but that's why I talk about it so much, because you can see it coming. Like, this is happening. Like, it's happening. And this is and it's like no stopping it, because this is a universe cycle. And this is also the liberation of Earth out of this dark energy. And it's like all of the, it's like that, yeah, it's kind of like a partnership. So it's kind of like we've come onto Earth to learn, and through our learning, we've been super abusive. But then once we get to the, once we get to the knowledge of our own behavior, then we change it and we take her with us. So it's like, it's like this relationship that is a mutual learning relationship, and it is also, it all just works together. And so it's a natural occurrence. And so us changing is what is like motivates. I keep hearing motivates, but it is us changing is what flips everything into the light. It's us facing our darkness and choosing our light, and knowing, because in the learning and growing and stuff, you got to, through your spiritual, that's why it's important, it's spiritual healing, because in your process, that is where you can develop more into the what is it, like the acceptance and the connection, but over the bigger picture. There's like a bigger picture. If you don't do your healing through your spirit, that it's like it's not, you're not getting the whole thing. So it's important to this connection to your higher self, your spiritual side, because that is the part that is elevating you. And so it is important to connect to that. And in that process, see, that's where you learn, like, there is no wrong or right. You're perfectly fine the way you are. There's nothing, and no matter how wrong you feel or dirty you feel, there's nothing that you ever do wrong in the eyes of the universe, because they know everything is about learning. And one of the positive things is when you feel bad after you see something and you understand something and you feel bad, you're obviously learned. You're obviously learning, because now you don't feel good about it. So that is, and it's not like that even has to occur, or the universe is mad at you and will damn you to hell. No, it has nothing to do with that. It is, but the universe just is the higher mind. It just knows things are going to play out. Things are going to work out just fine. And it doesn't get absorbed into the dark. The light knows that it's light. And the dark, I don't know, the dark's just now finding out a little bit about itself. Because now it's going to be like have no one to feed off of. And that is weird too, because there was something about when the this other side kept looking into the looking glass, and they kept seeing it supposedly like 2040 or something. They couldn't see anything of themselves past 2040 or something. that they cease to exist. And so that would be that the shift has happened, and we've all walked into the new party, or we left and we went went home or went to a different party or whatever. But this one, and this party is not for everyone. Not everyone is into whatever this party is going to be. But the cool thing to me about this party is it's like opening so much of the world up to us. Like, I really feel like there's so many people who talk about all of this shattering realities and all these Mandela effects and stuff. Confirmation that so we have all these people talking about that, but I think that it is more focused on where it is you want to go, where it is you want to be, not what's falling apart. And yeah, it's all falling apart, and it's all, it's trippy. It's very trippy, and some people need to focus on that because it's a part of them realizing that this world is pretty trippy. So, you got to follow your own instincts, but what was I saying? The focus, your own instincts. Okay, let me see if I can get back to what it was. The dark, man, I don't know. I feel like I'm lost. I can't think of what it was. And I start listening to the rain, start thinking about my stomach's about to growl. What time? 56. Let me think. It was, I don't feel good. I don't know. Let me think. Man, sometimes I feel like that my hair just goes like it'll seem like it's going faster, and then all of a sudden it'll seem like it goes really slow, and it's weird. But it still is more yellow looking. It still is getting darker and darker, but it goes so slow sometimes. And it's also weird because it's like my whole head of hair keeps changing colors. Like, I swear to God, I see a lot of red in my hair. And I don't know what other people see, but I see a lot of red, and I feel like it's from drinking the copper, but I don't know. Because I know, like, when I was in high school, I had some kids that would always tell me I had red hair, but my brother had orange hair, so I always thought he had red hair. But now I feel like I do have a lot of red in my hair. So, definitely it fills in so much more with the color. And anyways, I don't know, this part is just the slowest part. I'll just be glad when it's not there anymore. I don't know why. It's just it just dry. I don't know. Like, I know it's happening. Like, I know it really is happening and stuff. Like, we'll look at my tooth too. Hold on. This part over here always drives me crazy. Is the scar where I cut my head open. It's right there. So it always splits right there. And then it splits right where it has this white streak. So it always looks weird to me when I see it. I don't always see it because I'm always looking off somewhere. But anyways, oh yeah, I'll show you my tooth. And last night I was doing a whole bunch of, because I was awake so many times, I was doing a whole bunch of the Envision. I don't even know if you can hear how hard it's raining. And then then the wind comes in. It's just like, I'm so, and I was gonna go to the store. Yesterday I just went over to the food bank, which it was like hardly any food. Like, it's gotten so much less. And I know that's because the government's not giving him any money. Well, even when Inslee came out there and he just wanted to look at the electric car things, he didn't give a fuck about the money for the food. He didn't give a fuck about community. They don't give a fuck about any of that. Whatever, they're just robots. Oh, get in the electric charging machines. And there's a bigger thing that these people are doing. You know, they think they're going to force us all into these cars, then they're going to get us all lined up, sitting there for hours and hours, charging us big money to charge our cars. Like, it's fucking madness. I forget a goddamn horse, I'll tell you that. But so I kept envisioning it. And it's so trippy too, is when I will focus my mind on it, I'll feel it. Like I'll feel it start doing stuff like healing or something. So anyways, I'll show you. But it also, I feel like, I don't know. We'll see how fast it goes. Like, I'm not going to project anything on it. But I'll just look at it. Because it's definitely changing. Oh. And on the top, I still feel uncomfortable to be like chewing a whole lot on here, even though like sometimes you're eating and food's going over on this side. My lip is really or I got a sore on my lip too, right here. It was hurting. It keeps getting worse too. It's like, where do these things keep coming from? This weird thing on my face the other day, it's like just a dark spot. There's nothing there. It's like, what in the hell is going on? But anyways, so the top though, it feels like it's already, like I think there was more of the top missing. So I think more of the top is filled in than was there before. But it still seems like it's just like this little like edge or something. So I'll show you again. So I feel certain. Well, I feel certain from the stuff that I've been experiencing and what I've been learning is, you know, if we're taking care of ourselves, that our body heals itself. If we are focused on our own health and stuff, that our bodies will heal. And everything that they have ever done, every motherfucking thing that I've ever had done in Western medicine has always backfired. Every single motherfucking thing. There's nothing where I had a good outcome. Even on my hysterectomy, man, they had to do it 2 times. And I got a fucking brain injury the first time. Just everything that they've ever done. And, oh yeah, I'd seen a video where a guy was talking about his little kid and she was complaining about pain and they kept telling the doctor and the doctor kept saying, oh, it's growing pain. She's fine. It's fine. And they finally talked him into doing a scan and she's just eaten up with the CA. So this, and then once you go and you listen to all these doctors talk about what the CA is, and it's parasite and mold and candida. So it's these things, and then you think, well, how is it getting in us? They're giving it to us. They're raining it on us. Like it comes through our skin. It comes through and burrows through our hair. It is in our food. It's in our air. It's everywhere around us. It's our environment. It's so motherfucking toxic. And they're doing it all on purpose to have this outcome. And again, I believe it has to do with the distraction to try and hold souls back so that they think that they can continue with their reality because they need souls to be there. And we're all pulling out of it. It's like we're all pulling free. We're pulling out. And that's what flips their whole world upside down. And it literally makes their game go dark. It makes it cease to exist. Like they end up closing in on themselves and like that, like just becoming this little, like some of them could just be little like fucking rocks that fall somewhere. It's this energy of dried up archons or something. It's not like all these energies can go get in a ship and take off like the Dracos or whatever. And still, I mean, the Dracos and stuff, if they constantly go around just destroying, they're destroying their own environment. See? So, you know, it would be just light. So there is like, they can't just destroy all the dark. It's like that they use it. That's why like they can't go in here and nuke this place and stuff like that. It's like they can use it. But the energy that is created here, the energy that is the energy forms, they have nowhere to go once this is gone. And so they are more bound. And that is where it's like closing in on themselves. It's like, the party leaves and it's just all of them and they're all sitting there. And I mean, what are they going to do? They feed off of each other. If somebody's got more energy, kind of feed off of each other, kind of become like a blob, like one unit of dark energy. And then it's like the tumble begins in outer space and they become like a comet flying through the air and land somewhere. But yeah, like once they land and their energy goes out, it has to be fed. That is, yeah, like how there's been land spirits and stuff here and stuff. Um, but yeah, it is, because there's dark energy, but then there's also the trickster energy. Because the dark energy, they're, they aren't, I don't know, they aren't like, they don't think that same. Like, they don't think like, trickster energy is more of, to me, of a soul that hasn't fully evolved. Like they don't much get out of the dark. Like they're kind of bound by their behavior or something to a certain realm, and they can't get up into the light. And but everything they do is harmless, even though when something happens to you, it doesn't feel harmless all the time. But everything they do is harmless, and so they are, I don't know, like gnats or something in the realm, but they are, well, that doesn't give them much respect. So they do deserve respect. Like they do have their own thing going. Like they figured out how to have fun and being alive and make that realm into some certain things. So anyways, yeah, you can't minimize any other souls, even the dark energy, as I was saying, it's almost kind of sad because it's like it has nowhere to go, but it like I said, it kind of just goes in on itself and becomes like this thing and goes somewhere else to try and find somewhere to exist. And energy too, because yeah, it's trippy to say, like they went in, the comet of this dark energy flew into a field and into some other planet, some other place, and farms or something. These farmers, I see like these old, like primitive kind of farmers, but they're more connected into the spirits of the land and stuff. And but I see a little girl come, and she could go through there and get that attached to her, and then take that anger, take that energy, and then build in it. You have to have a strong sense of self or light to push the dark energy away, to notice, to realize like that it's a communication, that it's not you. Because I think that's the biggest problem in this reality, is that so many people think the dark energy is them. Like they think that what the dark energy is feeding them is coming from inside of them, but it's not. It's this other energy. And then when you think, well, how's this other energy be able to trick you like that and stuff? It's because your soul is not doing a good job of blocking it off. And if you're not doing a good job, it's because you've got an interference in your communication, and you're not allowing your soul to tell you, like, don't listen to that. And so you have to, everything has to do with this connection to this higher aspect of yourself, the all-knowing part of you, the part of you that is, is an observation of you, the part of you who is watching, who knows you're going to figure it out, who knows you're not going to do anything wrong, the part of you that loves you no matter what. The love that people are looking for, it really does come from inside yourself. It comes from you. It's once you love yourself, there's nothing else that can penetrate that. And that is the value of learning how to love yourself, because there is nothing or anyone who can penetrate that once you do. It's when we don't, is when we are subject to other people's betrayals and behaviors that can, yeah, it can isolate us into ourselves and feeling like something's wrong with us, because we're always turning things onto ourselves. And we have a whole society that goes around feeling like that there's something wrong with them, and they're trying to hide it by putting out this fake self so that nobody else can see it. But then everybody can see this fake self and knows like something's up. And so it's always way better just to be your real self, just to be regular. And just like, and if anybody thinks you're weird or judges you or something, that's on them. Like we got to quit carrying other people's judgment as something that we've done wrong. Like that's their problem. That has nothing to do with you. And that is another thing too, is that when somebody's really stuck in the dark, they're going to be really judgmental of things that are more light, because that is pushing them to feel like they have to be better, and they're going to be resistant to that, and they're going to blame somebody else. And so there's all these like really toxic kind of behaviors, and you can't stop somebody else's behaviors. You can't stop somebody else from being judgmental or hateful or anything. You can only stop yourself, and that is the cleansing. So as you cleanse yourself and you become more pure and you aren't judgmental and hateful, then you can see so much more how it's on them. And then even as you keep going, you start having kind of like empathy and mercy, like, oh man, it must be rough to be so hateful and judgmental. Like you start kind of feeling for them, like, gosh, I had to have some stuff that really holds them back. Oh yeah, and also Trudeau is supposed to step down. He was supposed to, yesterday afternoon, he was going to tell the people or something. And I heard this a week ago or something. I keep hearing these Canadians, so I don't know if their news is saying it. I don't know if those, but supposedly, and the person who I saw talking about was like super excited. They're like, yeah, maybe things are going to get better in Canada now. And so, because they are, they're having all sorts of issues too. And theirs are very similar to ours as well. And also with Australia and also with England. We're all kind of like in this, I don't know, this, not a trifecta, because isn't that three? But it's like this thing, like they've got a hold of us. The crown and the church. And there's supposed to be more of, yeah, it's like they don't have so much the control as what we think. But it's like the places these are power places. There's like a lot of people of a certain, I don't know how to explain it, but it is like there's gonna be a big shift with those four places that will be very significant. All kind of go together, and we're all being hit really hard in these places. I don't know about all the other places, but I know there's something with these ones. And there's the Vatican is supposed to, for, I don't know, Christmas ceremony or something, they're going to open up some portals or something. They're going to open some dark doors to the depths of hell. So I don't know, something weird's supposed to go on that is also supposed to be a part of, it will be a part of the awakening. It's a part of the, part of, because all these religious people who are focused on, what's going on in the back. And then, yeah, that's what they need to see. They need to see some shit. It's got to break free, because they got to get out of this mind control, this mind trap. And religion is a huge one. So, yeah, I don't know how that's going to play out, but something. And then we got, we still have all this weird shit going with all these spaceships and other things, because there's other things, and people are going up close. Like this one guy, he went up close on something, and he was freaking out because he said you can see a face, and you can definitely see a face in this orb thing. But that's because we are all really orbs. And when we're not in this fancy little outfit, then we are really orbs when we're not in the container. So we're all orbs. So we don't need to fear orbs because it's just people who aren't in a container. And some of the people who can fly around as an orb can create their own container when they come out of it. So some of them can create whole fucking spaceships together and shit. Like there's all sorts of stuff like and I don't know at what level we're going to be, but like I had said before, when we're picking our realities of choice, I'm choosing the Jetsons. I'm choosing the Jetsons. I'm going towards Jetsons reality. I'm going towards space age, and it's like it's in my blood too, because all the time I could not understand, like as I watched the Flintstones and Jetsons every day, I'm like, that were my jam. The shows that I watched all the time: Brady Bunch, Flintstones, The Munsters, Addams Family, and then all those scary movies on Friday night. But the Leave It to Beaver there for a while. I didn't really like Father Knows Best or Ozzie and Harriet, but I loved Leave It to Beaver. I didn't really watch Andy Griffith's show, Mayberry RFD. I watched, but I did like with the Brady Bunch, and even once it started getting a little bit older, I think, because then there started being like Love Boat and stuff. But back when we were younger, I mean, because there was only a couple channels, there was only a couple of shows, and Looney Tunes, like watch Looney Tunes, Three Stooges, of course. Then, but the Looney Tunes like Daffy Duck, the Yosemite Sam, the Wolf, or what was that guy called, the Coyote, and Tweety and Sylvester. So all those cartoons do. But on the Flintstones and the Judsons always stood out to me because I always felt like that, that there was something about we were the Flintstones, but we were going to become the Jetsons. And I kept thinking something was going to happen and we were going to start flying around in cars, and I wasn't sure when it was going to happen or whatever. But but as I would get older, I would always be thinking like, I mean, I swear to God, I think like by the time I was 50, I was like, why aren't we the Jetsons yet? Like, what is going on? Like, we should be the Jetsons by now. Like, they had that shit in a cartoon when I was a kid, and we still can't figure it out. Like, are you kidding me? And then we got like, we're carrying computers in our pockets that fucking radiate us and kill us. So, but we got all of this technology and stuff, and we aren't. Well, now to know, because we aren't, because they've been holding it back. They've been trying to keep us control in the lab, man. They don't want us out of the fucking pasture. And so, but that's the cool part about this whole thing is the technology that comes in, and the flying cars. That's going to be cool. And but see, still we're going to be going in flying cars. Well, we got other people who can just take their little orb and turn themselves into a little ship and take off. So we're still not that to that level. You see what I mean? So we're still at this other level, and I don't know if we're going to be learning how to do that, or if this is where we're going to be. We're just going to fly around and we're going to use portals and stuff. And there may be a bunch of beings that are more like that. So I don't know. It's going to be cool though, because we are going to start having first contact, or however you want to look at it. We'll start having interactions with these beings. I don't know. Maybe we'll start having healing centers, and some of these beings will work there. Maybe they'll be like history places, and we'll go there and they'll tell us about our history. Like, I don't know how it's all going to be. It's going to be wild though. It's going to be, I mean, and it's definitely going in that direction. Like, there's definitely not just Project Bluebeam. There's not just our own military. Like, they've already said that they don't even know what all these are. But still, you got to really put it into perspective to remember it's a distraction, and you get too focused on that and take your energy away from other things, and you just keep focusing on that. That's going to hold you back, because you got to be present and going through whatever is coming to you. And if you get really stuck on that, like, I don't know, maybe it has to do with your healing, but it's you just need to have your own awareness of these things. Like, am I being stuck? Do I need to move on? Do I need to keep looking at this? What is it I'm learning from it? What is it am I trying to get from this? And the biggest thing to me is being present over your interactions, your transits, the things that come in and out of your orbit, to because those things are there to teach you and help you to grow through this period of time. And that's the crazy thing, is that there's just been so much of this period of time of growth, and there's so many people who have not been using it like that. And so it's trippy because, like, fuck, man, if it were to go like mine, like, fuck, I got my brain injury in '09. And so if it were to go into all that healing, like, we have long ways to go on the healing part of people. So I think it's going to go faster, because there was a lot of, of those of us who had to start early. There was no guidance. There was that your only guidance were your guides, the stuff that came to you and stuff. And so you're kind of on your own. But now it's going to be a lot bigger. There's going to be a lot more direction, a lot more understanding over what's going on and stuff. Because when it very first started for so many of us, we had no idea what the fuck was going on at all. It was very much like, now my throat is totally being attacked. Hold on. Oh, that hurts. So there glows the neighborhood. I swear to God, it is going. It's just fucking drowning, man. There's a big wind gust. I kept on thinking, man, I better hurry up and do this, because the power's going to probably go out. Yeah, it's 1:21. It's 4:45. So anyways, let me think if there was some more stuff, because it is, I mean, that's what's going on here on this place. It all has to do with the spiritual part of reality. And so many people are so disconnected from that part of reality. And, but that's the connection that is happening, is to bring people into that connection, because it connects you to yourself. Just like I said, all these mad scientists with all the money and power and stuff like that in the world, and they can't figure out how to connect to themselves and find peace and find understanding. And you can go to other places. Like, I'm always going to other places. Like, I'm always out of here. And so you can, through yourself, you have to go into yourself. So they're just always going outside of themselves, and they're just dragging us through it. But anyways, that's because this is that disease. But there is a lot of people who think like they've done good, but it's going to, when the light comes on, they're going to look at what they thought that they did good is doing it bad, because of just that same thing of, like, they're doing good for mankind by learning. And not only that, in all these fucking old movies, like, if you put on sci-fi horror movies from the 40s, 50s, and early 60s, it's the same motherfucking thing all the time. They've always got people down in their basements. They're cutting them up and stuff. They're always doing these kinds of things, and they're always what was the other thing that it was gonna be? It's the sci-fi horror. The what is it that they're always doing besides that? Because they're always doing that. Is let me see if I can see. I don't know why it just seems like it goes so, like, I can't see. And maybe that's the interference too. Like, I don't know. I can't get all, like, but definitely in these old movies that they say things that, oh yeah, okay. They say things like that they are doing all of this stuff for humanity so that we can understand things. So all of that stuff. So see, they think they're doing things to make things better. I would not say the fraud, the fraud. I would say he knew exactly what he was doing. That little guy, that little troll, he was out to make money and show his power. To me, he seems like somebody who was bullied in school, and he's gonna get even with us all by destroying the world. That's what he seems like. But in the movies, all the time, they do say that, like, that they are doing all this stuff for man, because so man can learn and grow and all this stuff. It's like, no, because we are manipulated passengers. Do you hear that? I don't know. I keep having the weirdest sounds all the time. It keeps being weird sounds. It was so trippy last night when something hit into the window. It was scary. Maybe that is somebody snoring. Like it's a weird snore. It sounds like a weird whistle outside. It's creepy. And what did I just hear? Something about you're not supposed to whistle in the dark in the forest or something. Wouldn't even be in the dark in the forest for one thing. But what was it? I had just seen you should not whistle about something. I can't remember. But there is so much stuff about folklore and stuff. But the thing is the folklore is true. Like there is beings out there. And, you can be whistling and pulling them towards you because they're finding you because you're whistling or something. Definitely all that stuff is out there. There definitely has been beings that have come here and feeding off of us the whole fucking time. Like, the stories of werewolves and vampires and all that stuff. All that stuff is real. The shapeshifters and all of those, the skinwalkers and all that stuff, people going missing all the time. The amount of people that go missing is insane. And especially because I'm sure that, I mean, they're just going missing, and then when you find out like that they are like sending whole like train things full of humans to some of these beings to chow down for supper. Like there's a whole trade on it. And I don't know. It seems like you live like homeless, isolated, alone, just you out there, and there's nobody to claim you or something, that you're at risk for sure. But they also take all sorts of people who do have people that claim them. And then in the media, they just will turn it. A lot of the police and stuff are even trained to blame the people and start attacking the people to where the people just want the police to leave them alone. And there's so much shenanigans, man. There's so much manipulation and shenanigans, and especially in regards to this people stealing shit. So, I don't know. But luckily, we're at the end of it. like it's all the ending of this. It's rough. It's a rough ride, man. It's rough to watch and see all this stuff and to realize this stuff and all the stuff with the dogs and stuff, and it all to be going on at the same time while they're having this dog eating festival. It's just so much, man. And they're just mass murdering all these dogs, and they're always these so many cute dogs, and they just all have those eyes like, I just want love, I just want someone to love me, I just want a home, I just want a family. And I don't know. I know that, those sad eyes are haunting, and once they leave, then I mean, they're all playing the part that they're here to play too. Like everybody has a part. Even the dogs, everything that comes to us, it all is exactly where it's supposed to be, when it's supposed to be there. It's the exact souls that come to you. There's nothing by accident. There's no trick in the universe. There's nothing by accident. It is all very set and very structured. and it's going to go exactly the way it's going to go. And it's going to play out exactly the way it's supposed to play out. And it's so trippy when I hear all these people constantly, we jump timelines. We were on a timeline where Donald died, and then this was going to happen. And then now we're just jumped this timeline. We're on this timeline where this is going to happen. It's like, I'm telling you, the same fucking thing is going to happen no matter what. We are in this time of change. This world is going to fall apart. Everything about it. The landscape is going to change. We're going to start over into this new age of is based on love and abundance, and so much about our spiritual connection to ourselves and healing, and it's like a healthy society develops out of this corruption. And but it's all by our choices, and we are all going to be really pushed by our souls. And so even people who don't recognize that they have one, it's going to suddenly blossom up, and they're going to be hit hard with it. And it's like a existential crisis. And so anyways, there'll be lots of that stuff happening. But anyways, where we get to, though, is this beautiful existence, this place in time and space where we get to just live in joy and abundance and see what that feels like. See how that is, it's going to be a beautiful time. And so all of these other things that all these other people keep saying and stuff, I don't know all of the different things that we got to go through to get there. It's obviously a lot, and it's a slow process, but that's where we're going. So all this other stuff, like we're jumping on this timeline, now we're on this one. Now, where are we going on all these? Like, where do you people think we're going? Like, maybe this group is going this way and this group is going that way. I don't know. That's why I say I'm claiming it. I'm going with the Jetsons. I'm going to the age of Aquarius. I'm going to the technology is where it's meant to be, not being held back by these other people and them using it and stuff. So anyways, that's where I'm headed. That's the timeline of the only timeline that I know of. That's the only one I know of. And so all these other ones where these people keep saying all that stuff, I don't know, take it with a grain of salt. It's like their perception, their understanding. And this is during a time of evolution. So people's development of their understanding is in the process. And so people can think one way this day and all of a sudden see something different the next day. So we're in a process. So you don't want to get too hung up and too caught up in what anybody else's process is. And that is going to be a big part of the spiritual part too that will break down, is because there was so many people who were misdirecting people, but there was so many people riding on their coattails. And like, just like that Mother Hannah or Nurse Hannah, like she had so many people following her account, and the way she treats her kid and stuff. She's got a lot of stuff going right now. I don't even know what's going to go with her thing. But there's like, I don't know. She's got like legal thing. Like there's a lot going. And I don't know if it's going to come out like that her husband's like a saucer or whatever. But there was people who followed along. Like, she's like, I don't know. I couldn't follow somebody like that, assaulting their kid, or I don't know so much assaulting them as just being very just dismissive. Like having, you got a bowl of French fries in front of you and you're sitting there eating them. Your 2-year-old sitting right there, and he reaches for a French fry and you hit his hand. He's not allowed to have anything like that, but you're going to just sit there and mow down on it all the time right in front of him. Like, there's just a lot of weird shit. It's like, why would someone follow along? How did this girl get followers? Like, what? So that is the thing. Like, the people who follow along, the followers, everybody is going to have a big hard look at themselves. And there's going to be a lot of followers to this spiritual community that is going to all of a sudden see like, oh, I was following along on their journey. I wasn't connecting into my own. And they're going to find themselves in a situation, in a spot or whatever. But whatever the spot is, there's still the entanglement has to do with your soul's journey. Like, you probably have something to do with whoever it is you're following. You know them from other lives and stuff. So whatever, things are going to play out the way they're going to play out. So again, no matter how things start playing out, you can't be too hard on yourself. And there's nobody coming in to save you. You got to face your own stuff. And the biggest thing is going to be facing your own darkness. But you got to let it go. You got to let it go in order to get to the other party. You can't go in disguised. You can't go in and put on the right robe and cover up all the darkness inside of you. No, you have to let go of all the darkness. You got to let it go, and the light shining is going to show you where the darkness is, and you got to be real with yourself in order to shed the darkness, because then you will find yourself cloaked in the white robe of joy or love or enlightenment. I don't know, but you'll find yourself cloaked on the robe once you let all this other stuff go. So you don't have to, you can't force it. You can't just go and go, well, I'm just going to take this off and put this on, because things are going to happen in life that's going to keep bringing up the things that you're trying to let go of. It's going to keep coming at you and coming at you. And that's because the universe is trying to get you to face it. And so you've got to let go of the things. You got to face things. You got to heal things. That's the only way. It's the only way. It's the only way into the new world, is that it's the new you that enters the new world, not the old you. The old you is somebody who you need to mourn and let go of and say goodbye to. The old you was the part of you that was created for you to exist in this reality. But now the new you is the one that you are creating to be in this new reality. And it's a big jump. It's like the other side of the coin. And you got to really connect with your own light in order to remember, who you are, that you aren't all this darkness, that you are of the light. And so, yeah, it's flipping. It's like the light coming on and stuff. So anyways, but that is the whole thing. That's the big shebang. That's the big awakening. That's what we're going through. And that is what we're closer and closer and closer. Because there is all these things popping up that are changing the current, that are turning us in the other direction. And so we are turning in the other direction, and it's going to flip. It's like, okay, so I see it like a boat, like a sailboat or something, and then the wind changes, the current changes, the boat starts turning, but once it gets to a certain part of the turn, it flips it because of the energy, so it flips it. And so there's this flipping where everything flips to the other side that's going to occur. And that's where we're going to go from dark to light. And I don't know how it happens. I can just tell you it's going to happen. And when it does happen, it is for a good purpose. And everybody has their own role to play, their own duty to self. And it's the cleansing of yourself, your own soul. And the duty is to yourself. And so, that's the learning how to love yourself and to love everyone and how to have a loving day, because that's what it's all about. And that's what you got to do. So I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. See you later. Bye.